You are listening to the Fringe Radio Network. FringeRadioNetwork.com.
You're listening to Earth Oddity, a weekly odyssey into all the oddity planet Earth has to offer. And now, serving it up are Christopher Tiny Sullivan and John Long.
Welcome, friends, to another episode of Earth Oddity, and we thank you so much for joining us this week. Whether you are a Dutchman trying to lower his age by 20 years on Tinder to make that Tinder profile pop a little more, or a salty judge that didn't get reelected who can no longer dispense with justice, we thank you.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. And also, if you're a Alabama man who fell through the roof of a Waffle House.
Yeah.
And quite possibly the most Alabama move ever done in the history of Alabama. And we've had some pretty big Alabama moves. I'd like to recall, for everyone to maybe recall the stand in the schoolhouse door. That was a huge Alabama move.
It was.
Yeah. Not one we're really proud of now, but it happened. But yes, we're glad you're here with us. And on a different day, too.
Yes.
Which is kind of my fault, but we're going to keep rolling with it.
We've, as a quick announcement right here on the Get, we have talked for a while about moving our release to Tuesdays instead of Mondays just because it'll give, most of the time we record on Sundays, but back before football season, there was the occasional Saturday we would record, and that worked out great. But when we record on Sunday, I usually am super busy trying to edit the show and produce it. Just moving it back one day will give me more time to work on it. Hopefully it will actually result in a better podcast. So we know we're late this week.
Don't get your hopes up, though.
But moving forward, Tuesdays will be our day to release.
Right. Yes. And so that's going to be good for everybody. Most importantly, it's going to give Tiny some more time.
Yes.
Because I really do nothing. I show up and talk. Tiny is the whole brains behind this thing. He does everything. And I just show up and talk like a dummy for a little while. And then I go home and I don't worry about it until next week. And Tiny, he puts in all the effort in this, and so it'll give him a little more time. Maybe get his wife off of his back some, too.
Well, now I wouldn't hold my breath. She hates my podcasting.
It just takes up your time,
I keep telling her, look, there's going to come a day. It may not be today. Well, in fact, it won't be. It won't be tomorrow either. And it may not be next year. And it may not be 15 years from now.
Right.
But at some point, I'm going to be like the mega podcast guru.
Well, I feel like if we just keep doing this, sooner or later, some new technology will come along and we'll just by default become the #1 podcast because everybody else will stop doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we'll be able to use that as our tagline, America's #1 podcast.
Yep.
And we'll be like the people that are still releasing cassette tapes, today. So,
but then another 15 years after that, podcast will come back. It'll be like a hipster thing.
Exactly.
And then
we just got to ride the wave.
We just got to wait it out.
That's right. We're in it for the long haul.
The very long haul.
Well,
you got any good stories this week?
Yeah, I got the Waffle House guy. I got another one here. I guess I can get started with it. And since I am the resident Boy Scout expert on this podcast,
I would like everybody to know John's an Eagle Scout.
I am. I'm an Eagle Scout.
He took scouting very seriously.
I did.
It's a huge accomplishment.
Yep.
I can't say that word. Huge accomplishment. Everybody should respect John for his achievements in scouting.
Well,
he is the scouting guru.
I don't want to, I don't want to big time everybody with my Eagle Scout, so I don't bring it up.
Please do.
But, I don't want to, just throw a bunch of knowledge on everybody about different outdoor skills and stuff that I know how to do. But, I mean, I can basically survive, with a pocket knife and a compass for the rest of my life while everyone else is worried about.
Was Bear Grylls an Eagle Scout?
I don't know.
Because he's got no business being on TV if he wasn't.
Right. I don't know, but he probably could have made one if he's not, Mm-hmm. I know he's like in the military or something. Right. So the Boy Scouts is basically Well, it's not really like the military, but you learn a lot of the same stuff. If you're an Eagle Scout and you join a service branch, you automatically enter it one rank above whatever you would be. You know, it's
Really? I
if-
didn't know that.
Yeah, if you join like the Marines, you're automatically a private instead of whatever, you know, an E1 or whatever
Right.
you are. And you know, that's just if you're an Eagle Scout, that's one of the perks you get. So
You know, Chuck Norris, he earned his Eagle Scout 3 times in a row before he left elementary school.
I'm sure.
So, yeah.
I'm sure. But you know, so you already know how to use a compass and a map and to shoot an azimuth and all the stuff some of the stuff they teach you in basic training. So you already got it. But anyways, so I would encourage everyone to let your kid join Boy Scouts if they so desire,
Right.
Because it's a good program for real. But there's been a lot of controversy surrounding it lately. Here recently, they made the choice to allow girls to join, which I'll just pull the curtain back on that because a lot of people were unhappy about that. And that's simply because there's a demand for girls who want a program that is more outdoor intensive. And our enrollment numbers have dropped steadily since the 80s because people don't sign their kids up for Boy Scouts anymore. So
it just makes sense from the organizational standpoint. Hey,
Right.
all these people want to join. We want those dues.
Right.
Our membership is falling a little.
Right.
Let's bring them on in.
Let's bring them on in.
And let's make summer camp infinitely way more interesting and awkward.
And I would just like to point out to everyone that almost everywhere worldwide, scouting is co-ed. And when you're 14, if you're a female, you can join a branch of scouting called Venturing or Explorer Post, and it's been that way since the 60s. So there's already been girls in Boy Scouts for a long time, and it's not as controversial as everyone thinks it is. But you know, with the nature of social media,
I was about to say, you would not know that flipping through.
right, knee-jerk react, and then you got people who've never been involved with scouting writing all this stuff about how scouting's going down the tubes, you know, like they ever cared ever in their life, but whatever. So anyways, the Boy Scouts are being sued by the Girl Scouts now over a planned name change. The Boy Scouts of America announced in May they would rename the Boy Scouts program to Scouts BSA as they prepare to allow girls as members. But the Girl Scouts say the change could erode their brand, calling the move uniquely damaging to them. Their lawsuit seeks damages and an injunction against trademark breaches. Only GSUSA has the right to use Girl Scouts and Scouts trademarks with Leadership Development Service for Girls, papers filed in a Manhattan federal court said. The switch could marginalize the Girl Scouts, the complaint reads. It reportedly says the switch has already caused confusion, with some believing their organization had merged with the Boy Scouts. In response, the Boy Scouts of America issued a statement saying it was reviewing the suit and that it believed there is an opportunity for both organizations to serve girls and boys in our community.
So all those little boys want to sign up and be Girl Scouts.
Right, yes. Well, and the Cub Scouts for ages 7 to 10 opened its local troops or Cub packs to allow all children in 2018, and Boy Scouts, which runs 11 through, it says 17 in the article, but technically 18, you're a youth scout. Well, when you turn 18, you could no longer earn your Eagle. Will follow in its footsteps next year when the program name change becomes official. But the Girl Scouts protested the decision at the time, with the group's president, Kathy Hopnicka Hannon, accusing them of a covert campaign to recruit girls to tackle a well-documented declining membership. The Boy Scouts have reportedly close to 2.3 million members in the U.S., down about a third since 2000, compared with around 2 million members for the Girl Scouts. So, like I say, Girl Scouts are mad because the Boy Scouts here are about to pull some of their numbers away.
Right.
Because... And I have a lot of friends who went through Girl Scouts that, attest to it being a great program, and I have no doubt that it is. But as far as brand recognition goes, backing and dollar support, the Boy Scouts far outweigh the Girl Scouts. And so they're going to be able to reach more people and pull more members from the Girl Scouts. And the Girl Scouts...
They don't think they can open up their organization to boys and and pull just as many members away.
I don't think they can do that. And I don't think they think it's such a good idea. I think for all of the inclusiveness that we have in the world today, and
Yes.
we're all equal and we're all, the same, that the Girl Scouts believes there is a role and a function for their organization to just have a single gender organization that leads girls into womanhood and teaches them all the skills that you learn in Girl Scouts, whatever that may be.
I don't know.
Anybody
That
knows,
doesn't sound very tolerant to me, John.
all anybody knows about the Girl Scouts that they do is sell cookies. I know they do more than that, but nobody knows. Now, you think of Boy Scouts, you think of hiking, camping, popcorn sales, because we do sell popcorn, although
Yes.
our troop doesn't, but some troops do.
You think car washes?
Rappelling. If you've been in Scouts, you think of petty theft and crimes.
I was about to say back. Okay, this was a long time ago, and I didn't earn my Eagle, so I don't want to misrepresent myself. I'm second class. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm not. I mean that second class Boy Scout.
That's
Not
right.
second class as in I'm a second class person, even
Well,
though I am.
Yeah, well, without an Eagle, you are. We don't like to say that. That's how we Eagles talk to each other.
Even if someone made first class,
That's
you're like,
right.
he's second
Yeah,
class.
right.
But when I was a scout, one of the biggest things that we did was set things on fire.
Exactly.
So I
yes.
think arson,
Yeah, arson's a big thing you learn in Scouts.
cigarettes.
Yeah, I would say all of the bad habits I ever developed in life, I learned and picked up it and actually cultivated in Scouts. So, but the simple fact remains is that Boy Scouts is a great program. People talk about our society as, falling apart. Well, in the Boy Scouts, they teach you to be trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Those are all tenets that everyone, regardless of their gender, needs to know, you know, and needs to learn to live by. Now, of course, we got in a lot of trouble. We did a lot of crazy things.
And there were a lot of times we were not honest.
That's right. Yes, and there were. But as you come into an adult, you kind of learn to value those things more than you do when you're a kid, as is most things in life, that you don't realize while you're in it, how much it's affected you when you come out of it. There's only, like I say a lot of times, you can only recite, or I probably recited, on my honor, I'll do my best 50 million times from age 10 till age probably 25 when I got unactive with Boy Scouts. And, it's like a subtle brainwash into getting you to do your best,
Yeah.
So I understand where the Girl Scouts are coming from. All I gotta say is too bad, so sad, like, that's just the way it goes.
They're two completely separate organizations, right?
Absolutely.
So
yes.
why does the Girl Scouts think they have the ability to tell the Boy Scouts what they can or can't change their name to? You see what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, I get that Coke couldn't change their name to Pepsi because
Right.
Pepsi has that. But if
Yes.
Coke wanted to be, soft drink company or
Right.
something,
yes.
or, soft drink BSA,
Mm-hmm.
they couldn't do that, right?
I don't think so.
I guess that's for the lawyers to figure out.
Right. I feel like the Girl Scouts is saying they have a claim to the term Scouts. I don't know.
And the
if
Boy
they-
Scouts don't.
Right. I don't know if they do or they don't. I do know that in the 70s, the Boy Scouts actually made a move to change their name to Scouting USA.
Mm-hmm.
And it was largely rejected by everybody in Boy Scouts because Boy Scouts are very slow to change by nature.
Right.
And so I feel like at the
tell you
time,
what,
they
that-
had logos and everything. So at the time, we
It would-
probably trademarked that and we could always just go to that,
And that would also be an excellent name for like a sporting goods store.
Yeah. Oh,
Scouting USA.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I'm
Yes.
already wanting to sign up for the little membership card that gets me 10%
Get you
off.
10% off. Yeah. Yeah, so anyways, I mean, like I said, I'm sorry, Girl Scouts. Too bad, so sad. I'm sorry for everyone out there who thinks that the Boy Scouts should only be boys, because I don't feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have several friends that grew up in scouting who do feel that way. I just don't. And maybe it's because I have a daughter and I'm like, hey, maybe she'll get in it and she'll enjoy it too. And she can do all the things that I did and experience all the things that I did. And that would be great.
All the things
know?
you did.
Well, maybe not all of them. But I am going, Hudson and I are going hiking with the Scouts this weekend. So, we're going to have a good time and he's going to learn some of the stuff I did. And Maybe pick up some bad habits too, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's good. And there is something to be said for guys being around guys and girls being around girls, but it's not as big a deal as everybody's making it out to be. So it's not going to be boys and girls sleeping in the same tent. It's not going to be like when we grew up, our scoutmaster was like an old, retired major from the Army, taking girls.
Mine literally was Major White.
Yeah. Okay. I know Major White.
You know Major White.
Yes.
He was my scout leader.
All right. So, it's not going to be like that, because you're going to have a female leader with female scouts. And, it's not, sure, teenagers find ways to get together. Plenty, but it's not going to be like a orgy at summer camp. That's just all I want to tell everybody. All right. It's just not going to be that way. I'm sorry if you thought that was your plan. But
they were fixing to get all these new, not just girls, but all these boys were fixing to sign up. Membership was going to be popping until you told them that.
And I don't want to spill the beans, but I'm pretty sure that our troop, when it's allowed, is going to allow for a co-ed membership, because it's a unit by unit decision, really. So, if Troop 45 and 5th that I grew up in doesn't want to do that, then they don't have to do that.
Right.
The Boy Scouts aren't forcing them to do that, but they're giving them that option, which I think is fine. Like I said, I don't want to ramble on about the Boy Scouts too long.
We've been talking about them a while now, but the Boy Scouts are largely anonymous organization, right?
Anonymous?
What am I trying to say? Like autonomous.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
right. Yes, and the Mormon Church is real mad. The Mormons make up our Mormon brothers and sisters. I won't say, our Mormon scouting brothers and sisters. They make up a large portion of the Boy Scouts enrollment, and they have been for years planning to break away and start their own like Mormon Scouts or whatever.
That's scary.
So they've already set in motion those plans to start too, which is really going to hurt as far as dues and fundraising goes with the Boy Scouts, but I feel like the Boy Scouts will be fine and they'll survive. And there's been offshoot RAs. If you were Baptist, RAs is pretty much a Baptist Boy Scout. So there's another
with like no merit badges.
Well, you earn like little medals or something. We had like RAs for like a year at my church growing up, and you earned stuff. But it's still, they teach you knot tying and all that stuff. But so there's been plenty of offshoot organizations that have tried to rise up against the Boy Scouts over the years.
Awana was in a way.
It's sort of, yeah.
But our church doesn't have that anymore.
No, that's right.
We have Bible skills, drills, and thrills.
That's right, yes.
But between me and you, it's not that thrilling.
Well, luckily, thank you, Jesus, I've gotten out of helping with that. No, I don't know. I would say it's a little different with Boy Scouts at church. You can holler at a kid at Boy Scouts with a little less repercussions than you can at church.
Right.
Especially if you're a deacon, you should probably act a little bit better. And sometimes I'd want to fight kids. So.
Well, as much as I would love to continue talking about
that's
this.
Enough Boy Scout talk. All right. If you got any Boy Scout questions, you can PM them to me on Facebook.
Or if you just want to rant about it.
Yeah, you just want to rant and
Let
tell
us
me
hear
how
about
wrong
it.
I am and how we're eroding the fabric of society by allowing boys and girls to do stuff
Oddity
together.
Discussion Group on Facebook.
That's right. Yeah.
Let us have it.
Bring it on. Bring it on. I will argue with any of y'all. And I've kind of not argued on Facebook in a long time.
He's been saving it up.
For this one subject, I will argue with anyone about it. Only in the Facebook group.
Plane drops 500 feet in 18 seconds after an error.
Okay. That's thrilling.
That's quite an error.
Yeah. Yes.
The pilot of a Flybe plane that dropped 500 feet in 18 seconds had selected the wrong autopilot setting shortly after takeoff, an inquiry has found. Okay, so can you imagine what this error was, this fatal error?
I don't know.
They flipped on the autopilot and somebody had set the altitude to 0.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're going in for a landing. Coming in hot.
Some 44 passengers and 4 crew were on board the Belfast City to Glasgow on January 11th when the aircraft pitched nose down towards the ground. An Air Accidents Investigation Branch report said that warnings alerted the pilot who fixed the error at 928 feet. So,
wow.
That's still pretty high, but that's 500 feet lower than they were.
And in a short time,
Yes.
This is why I always keep my seatbelt buckled and fastened or whatever on the airplane. Even when they're like, you can move about the cabin freely, I'm like, nope, keep my seatbelt on.
Because maybe somebody accidentally set the autopilot wrong.
Well, and I always think, like, if we crash, that seatbelt's not going to help me at all.
No, it's not.
So, but it's more like a security thing for me. Just like I feel better with it on.
Anyway, the airline said that they had implemented remedial actions quickly in response. The report said that the autopilot was engaged when the Bombardier Dash 8 Q400 turboprop plane reached an altitude of 1350. The plane climbed to 1,500 feet, but then pitched and descended rapidly because the autopilot was set with a target altitude of 0 foot.
Wow. That is crazy.
Staff reported that the plane had become visual with the ground, and the report said that the aircraft had reached a maximum rate of descent of 4,300 feet per minute. God. The 60-year-old pilot responded almost immediately. That's a good thing. To cockpit alarms and disconnected the autopilot, the report found. So I guess he just unplugged the switch.
It. Yeah, I don't know.
So after that they flew on to Glasgow without incident, but you would think there would be some kind of feature that would stop somebody from doing such a boneheaded move. Well, I
would feel like the autopilot thing should have like a hey, we're only going to go to this far down.
Yes.
Like 0 should not be where it bottoms out at. But what about the pilot coming on? I was like, okay, people.
Sorry about that.
We apologize.
My bad.
We're going to get you new drinks, whatever, We're gonna send a stewardess around, and we're just gonna take it easy there. We're so sorry about that. Wasn't my fault. That's the first thing I'd say. The guy who was flying this before me screwed it all up. Okay.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's wild. I don't know what I would.
If you try to land a plane in the ocean, will it let you? You think most, which I don't know how old this plane was, but I would think with the technology now, I mean, Tesla makes a car that'll drive all over the country for you.
Right. I mean, I guess you could probably manually land it in the ocean. I know that it's been a few years ago that dude landed one. Where was it, in Washington or D.C.? Like in the river in D.C. or maybe it was in New York.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What was his name? Scully or something like that. He became
that
like a
guy.
huge
hero.
The
movie.
Oh, I didn't see the movie.
Well, I haven't either, but there was a movie that Tom Hanks played in.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, anyways, he landed one in the water one time, so I guess you could do it. I don't know. I'm not afraid of flying. I'm just afraid of dying, in a plane crash.
Okay.
I just don't want that to be the way I go out. So I would find a cooler way to go out if I could. Although plane crash, I guess, depending on how many people were on it, you could probably get remembered for a long time. So
I'm afraid of dying slowly.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Like getting eaten by something. Getting eaten by an animal is like top one for me.
Like getting eaten by a bear.
Yeah, that's
That'd
rough.
Be bad.
That's so rough. Especially if he starts at the foot and there's nothing you can do about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is bad.
Or getting my head chopped off on YouTube. That kind of concerns me.
Yeah, that'd be tough too. Yeah. So
but if I did, before I died, I'd be like, make sure you listen to Earth Oddity.
I don't want to burn to death.
That would be bad.
Yeah, that would be real
I used
bad.
to think that would be okay until I set my leg on fire.
Yeah,
and I was like, don't want to die that way anymore.
You experimented with that a little bit. Yeah, I don't want to do that too. I don't know. There's really only like 2 ways people want to die anyways. That's like, one is obvious. The other's like sleeping. So, that's really like the only 2 people pick.
Yeah.
I feel like getting struck by lightning would be a cool way to go out if it like killed you immediately though.
Yeah. But then if you didn't die immediately, there's a slim chance you get superpowers.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Or you'd be magnetic or something, which I guess could be a superpower. All right, moving along. My good friend Todd Glover, who all of his close friends call him Razor, sent me this story, but I'd already seen it. It's been going around on Facebook, and it's an Alabama man not wearing pants falls through a Waffle House ceiling and goes nuts. All right, this is a great article. It's by Joe Kinsey on bustedcoverage.com, which is kind of like a sports website. It's a pretty funny website if you want to follow it, but I'm just going to read it pretty much verbatim. It says, "Excuse me if I immediately wonder what drug Wesley Glenn Boast was on Sunday morning when he fell through the ceiling of an Alabama Waffle House. I've watched the video a couple times, and the only thing I can assume caused Boast to go off the rails as he sort of fought his way out before getting scattered and smothered by the good old boys who were inside was drugs." This is a snippet from another article. Authorities continue to search for a Jefferson County man who police said tried to break into the office of a local restaurant Sunday morning, falling instead through the ceiling into the dining area. Detective Sergeant Wes Holland said police were searching for Wesley Glenn Boast, 27, of Birmingham, and another man who was in the car with him when they fled from the failed attempt to break into a Waffle House on US 72. Holland said warrants against Boast will be issued today for first-degree criminal mischief and burglary. So it says, go ahead and start guessing what drugs caused him to do this. I'm not a drug guy. I have no idea. But
what would you say, John?
Oh, it's definitely meth.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, these parts, that's got to be your go-to. But what he did, because I read another article, is he went into the bathroom and took his pants off and tied the door closed with the
Okay,
with
so
his
far,
pants.
I'm with him.
Okay.
I get it.
Yeah. So then
Nothing odd yet.
Nothing odd yet. So then he went up in the ceiling, and his plan was to crawl to the office, I guess, where the deposits were or whatever,
Right.
and he was going to get those, and I guess go back through the ceiling. And I don't know if he got disoriented. You've seen the video, right?
Yeah.
Because he falls on a table out in the middle of the dining room. It's so bizarre.
Well, he probably just didn't know where he was.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
it's like, what was it in The Great Escape when they're trying to dig the tunnel
Yes.
under the fences?
Right.
And
Great movie, by the way.
It's a great movie.
Steve McQueen, I
when
love
they,
it.
When they come up, they were shy of the tree line.
Yes,
So
right.
they had, because they're underground, they don't know.
Don't know.
Well, in this one, I'm assuming maybe because he was in the ceiling, he didn't know.
Right. That's what I'm thinking, too, is he just took a right when he should have took a left or whatever. And
But still,
You would
not
think.
the most graceful landing.
no, not at all. And like those Celotex ceilings that are in a Waffle House, everybody knows what a Waffle House
Yes.
ceilings look like. You know, they're not made to hold up the weight of
No.
a man, a full grown man, at all. You know,
They're not made to hold the weight of a small dinky man.
right. Yes. So I just don't know what his plan was at all. I feel like if he was going to get up in the ceiling in the bathroom, then you'd be like, I need to stay along like where the walls are for the bathroom,
Right.
to support my weight. But if you're
Or maybe you could even count. Was it one of those little sections?
yeah, right,
Yeah.
yes,
You just count them,
Right,
1,
yeah.
2, 3, 4, whatever.
right, and then I'll be back
And then,
to where that
yeah.
is. But I don't know. But can you imagine being in a Waffle House? And this is like daylight in a Waffle House. So usually bad stuff goes down at night in Waffle
Yes.
House. But this is daylight in a Waffle House, and you're eating, and all of a sudden the ceiling starts like sagging and everything.
Yes.
Like what would you do? And then this dude in his underwear drops out and tries to run out the front door, and people are trying to stop him. I mean, that's so bizarre. And if you hadn't seen the video, please go watch it because it's so funny.
Well,
There is some language in it, so I wouldn't watch it around your kid because the lady filming it is. She's a little,
Yeah.
she's amazed by it. I'll just say that much. But it's a good video. Definitely good video. And yeah, a poor guy. I mean, he got arrested and he definitely should.
Right.
But, of the best laid plans, I guess, go awry. And he didn't think it through too well.
What do you think he'll tell his cellmates
How'd you
in
get
prison?
What'd you get in?
Because he's not going to tell the truth.
Oh, true. That's right. I don't know. That's tough. Depending on, if they throw him in like a drunk tank or something, and people probably seen the video, he'd be like, I'm the dude from that Waffle House video. And people are like, oh my goodness, that may be okay to roll
Yeah.
with. But if you get stuck in general population, you better come up with a good story,
You better just be, hey, I robbed a Waffle House. And just leave it at that.
Right. I robbed a Waffle. I shot a man for snoring, shot a man in his sleep for snoring.
And he had it coming.
Right, yeah, he had it coming. Just a reminder, kids, don't rob a Waffle House.
And if you do, don't rob it naked.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, definitely not naked, for sure.
next story here. This ousted judge just released all the juvenile defendants who promised him they wouldn't kill anybody.
Oh, okay.
So he did his due diligence.
Yeah,
here.
right. Yeah, they promised.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've made a lot of promises in my life, so yeah, I feel like
I hate to do that. What was that Simpsons episode where they all wanted to go watch this game, and the police chief was like, "All right, if I let everybody out to go watch the game, do you promise you'll come back?" And they're like, "No." And he's like, "All right, I'll sweeten the deal. If I let you out to go watch the game, will you promise you won't do crime anymore?"
I hadn't seen that one, but that sounds exactly like this dude.
Anyway, get this. Spurned by voters, a Texas juvenile court justice known for incarcerating lots of teen offenders opted to release virtually all the defendants who appeared in his court today. And this was on November 7th, just so y'all know. Harris County juvenile judge Glenn Devlin asked each defendant whether they planned to kill anyone, and then ordered their release when they responded in the negative. He was releasing everybody, public defender Stephen Halpert told the Houston Chronicle. Apparently, he was saying that is what the voters wanted. Devlin, a Republican, lost his re-election Tuesday after Democrats captured the benches in 59 local courts. He had earned a reputation as a judge who favors incarceration. The number of kids sent to juvenile detention doubled in recent years, despite falling elsewhere in Texas, according to the Chronicle.
Oh, so that's probably what his opponent ran on.
Yeah.
This guy's locking up kids left and right and ruining their life and all that. Yeah, I got it.
State law mandates hearings every 10 days for minors with pending court cases. Many are detained in the meantime. The district attorney was concerned about the haphazard releases. "We oppose the wholesale release of violent offenders at any age," Harris County District Attorney Kim Ogg said in a statement. "This could endanger the public," which I assume if he was there, he'd be like, "Well, it's what you wanted."
Yeah, right. Yeah. This is exactly what you guys were saying.
It's what you get.
That's right.
Make up your mind. Indeed, it does sound reckless to release teens accused of violent crimes, their promises to refrain from murder notwithstanding.
Wow.
So you don't believe they're telling the truth?
I get you're upset you lost the election and your opponent probably ran on the fact that you're locking teenagers up and not giving them second chances and all that, but this is not the way to go about it, And I'm sure like the Texas Republican committee or whatever, who's over there probably called him up and was like, "Hey man, you are hurting our brand right now." What are you doing? Cruz just eked out a win and now you're doing this. You're not helping our case out anybody. So.
But I tell you what a great day to be in court if you're one of the juvenile defendants.
What if your court day the days after and you hear all that happens? You're so mad.
Or what if you come in the day after and the new judge is in there and you're just like, "Man, I liked your predecessor better."
That's right. The other guy was a lot cooler than you. Yeah. Oh, I'm not for locking up teenagers unless they absolutely need it, but this is not the way.
It said some of them were violent.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I know.
man.
I mean, of course, I don't know what constitutes a violent criminal in a juvenile sense, is it just two dudes that got in a fist fight, and one of them beat the other one up or whatever, and his mom and dad pressed charges, and now you're a violent criminal because you were fist fighting. I don't know that's along lines like armed robbery and stuff like that. I'm sure there's probably some of all that in there. So especially in a big city like that, we get all that in Tuscaloosa.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know, but definitely not what you want to do.
But
kudos to that dude. He's just two middle fingers in the air. I'm out of this job. Forget everybody.
Yeah.
What y'all gonna do about it? I ain't running for re-election now. I've already lost it.
I guess none of the kids were dumb enough to try it, but I just wish one of them would have been like, when he asked, "Do you plan to kill anybody?" He'd be like, well, I don't know.
Yeah. Just depends.
I can't promise you I won't.
Yeah, that's tough. And he's like, "Oh, well, okay, everybody's free." Man, you're just and I'm sure the lawyers that were there were like, "What is going on, dude?"
What if you had a stack of Monopoly get out of jail free cards. He's autographing them and handing them out
to him. That'd be perfect. That'd be perfect.
Oh, man.
Well, let's go on to another criminal story here. This one comes from Michigan, from mlive.com. And its headline is, "A murderer gets Xbox in prison after leading police to women's remains." So this comes out of, I don't know if I'm saying this right, and I got a lot of family members who live in Michigan for a while, so maybe they'll correct me in the Facebook group, but this is, I believe it's Waukesha Township, Michigan. For the past 8 years, Doug Stewart was likely the only person who knew the location of his estranged wife's remains. This changed on October 22nd when Stewart, who is in prison for the murder of Venus Stewart, led police to the grave where he buried her body, according to Michigan State Police officials. Police found remains they believe are those of Venus Stewart buried in a 5-foot deep hole at a location Doug Stewart described in Waukesha Township in the southern part of Kalamazoo County. The Michigan Department of Corrections agreed to honor some requests for the convicted murderer, including providing Xbox gaming systems for use by him and other inmates at the Saginaw Correctional Facility.
Golly.
Yeah, Venus and Doug both grew up in the area and lived in Schoolcraft after they were married in 2002. They moved to Newport News, Virginia in 2009, and Venus returned to Michigan in February 2010, and then she was reported missing in April of that year. In June 2010, Doug was arrested and charged with first-degree premeditated murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree premeditated murder in connection with Venus Stewart's disappearance and alleged killing. Doug Stewart was convicted in 2011 with the murder of his estranged wife, and he's serving life in prison now. It says here that police detective Chuck Christensen has visited Stewart at least once a year since he was imprisoned, and more frequently recently, traveling to state prisons in Carson City, Iona, and Saginaw. And Stewart's mood changed over the years, Peterson said. On October 12th, after years of claiming innocence in the murder, Stewart admitted to police that he killed his estranged wife. Several factors contributed to the murderer's willingness to lead officers to the burial site, police said. And the kids wanted to know where their mother was at, which is one of the big factors that the police were trying to do it. So they agreed that adding 3 Xbox consoles...
Wait. I thought he got 1 Xbox.
No, 3.
3 Xboxes.
Yes. Well, look, if you got leverage in a negotiation and don't use it, that's your fault. I have to commend Mr. Stewart here. So he's like a hero now on the cell block, you know.
Yeah.
They gave 3 consoles to the veterans unit at the Saginaw Correctional Facility, where inmates with permission to use them will be allowed to play 30 minutes at a time. He said inmates were allowed to play sports games on the gaming consoles, which were donated, and the Xbox consoles will not be connected to the internet, so you can't go live and play Madden against somebody.
Yeah. And they're playing sports games, which sports games are great, but they're not letting these guys play Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, right. No. Peterson said he spoke with Stewart numerous times on the phone as well as in prison, and Stewart talked mostly about hypothetical situations and eventually was ready to tell him where he hid the body. I was skeptical right up until yesterday, he said, noting that every time he talks about family members of Stewart, it drags them back to the day she disappeared. And it was nice to be able to say, hey, it actually worked and we found her. So, you know, I think the sweetest thing that the state police of Michigan could do now is transfer this dude to another prison.
Yes, please do it.
That would be the ultimate move of justice.
Because I get that they want to find her remains. Absolutely. And they want to give the victim's family, all the closure that they can possibly. They're never going to be right again, ever.
Right.
But they want to do everything they can to make it as bring as much closure as they can.
Right.
But I don't like the idea of giving a murderer an Xbox.
Well, we had a situation here in Tuscaloosa. It was maybe a year ago at DCH, which is the hospital here in town. There was like a hostage standoff,
Right.
And the police chief of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Captain Anderson's a great dude. I know him, and he came in roly-poly all the time. He's a good guy. Agreed to give the guy that was holding someone hostage out in the parking lot, all he said he wanted to do was like smoke a joint and calm down. And so the police provided him with a joint to smoke so he could calm down, and it diffused the situation, and they arrested the dude,
Yeah.
and mellowed him out or whatever. And it was kind of controversial.
Weed to the rescue.
Yeah. People, were getting mad at the police chief for doing that, but I can get it in that situation. Now, if the dude's in jail.
Why wouldn't you want armed gunmen to smoke a joint?
Right. But here's my thing, like, if the guy's in jail and he's like in prison for life, and he says, I'm needing 3 Xboxes, I'll tell you where I buried them, I would be like, yes, sir. All right, we'll do it. And then I'd bring some Xboxes there.
And I would play them.
And
he could sit there and watch me.
once we found the body, I would come right back the next day and take all the Xboxes and be like, thanks, man. Take it easy. What are you going to do? Like, you're in jail. There's nothing you can do to me now, So we appreciate your help and have a great day, But
or you could be like, yeah, I'll get you an Xbox box.
Yeah, right, like an empty one.
Just the empty box, an Xbox box.
But also, I was thinking, my kids can't play a game together without getting in a fight. What are like two convicted murderers or like getting mad at each other? That feels like that would cause some problems, if somebody's running up the score on them in NBA 2K19 or whatever, and like trash
always
talking.
goes for it on fourth and always goes for 2.
Right, yes.
And wins by 108 points at the end of the game.
And then he gets shanked, like later on in the dining hall or whatever.
Well, that could happen because our next story here is something like that very similar did take place.
Okay.
Xbox Rage sends game player 30 on shooting spree. Neighbor's home struck, report says.
Oh, wow.
A Tennessee man was arrested Wednesday after he flew into a rage over an Xbox video game and fired a dozen rounds from 2 different handguns into his bedroom ceiling and his walls.
Goodness.
That's crazy.
I hope he was playing Red Dead Redemption. And he was like cowboying it up.
Casey L. Jones. Casey Jones.
Casey Jones.
It was Casey Jones.
Driving that train.
Yeah.
All right.
He had been playing on his Microsoft Xbox when he suddenly reached a breaking point, screaming at the game and smashing the console with his fist.
Ooh.
The Knoxville News Sentinel reported. You would think that'd be enough.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But maybe at that point he's mad because he don't have an Xbox anymore.
He just realized what he did.
He just smashed it. Says Jones went up to his bedroom nightstand, picked up a Springfield XDS handgun, and fired several rounds into the ceiling, the paper reported.
Okay.
Jones proceeded to grab a second handgun because, for those who don't know, the Springfield XDS is a small itty-bitty single-stack carry gun. He grabbed a Springfield XDM,
okay,
which, if memory serves, I think that's got a 19-round magazine in it.
Okay.
He fired another volley through the walls. One of those rounds went through a window, striking a neighbor's house.
Wow.
Court records say that Jones made threats of self-harm, which he says he has a history of making.
Okay.
This guy doesn't need an Xbox.
Yeah. No, he doesn't need a firearm.
No, he definitely don't need a
firearm. Start right there. Then work our way down to the Xbox.
Well, you're trying to strip that man of his rights.
Well, I mean, I feel like he's proven that he doesn't deserve it. Yeah.
Agreed. An unidentified woman in the home at the time said that there was no argument beforehand and he never turned the gun on her.
Okay.
Because he was just mad at his, mad at his game.
Look, I'm going to tell you what, them 12-year-olds cuss you out enough, you will get mad. It's happened to me. It's happened to me.
I always mute everybody.
Well, I've kind of quit playing now, so yeah. But, I played Hudson and Madden the other night, and I was beating him, and he cut it off halfway through, and it really made me upset because I was like, you better take your butt whipping like a man. You got to sit here and deal with it, but whatever.
A total of 16 shell casings were found in the bedroom, authorities said. So he shot 16 rounds after he lost his game. I wish they said what he was playing.
I know. That's what I really want to know.
I really want to know.
But I bet you that girl that was over there is like, hey, we didn't have a talk. I don't think it's going to work out between us.
Well, apparently he's going to jail, so she's got plenty of time to get her stuff out.
Yeah, she can just go ahead and make a new life for herself.
Yes.
That's rough.
It says he has no previous criminal record.
Mm-hmm.
He was charged with 4 counts of reckless endangerment and a deadly weapon and released on $8,000 bond.
Okay. Seems like a little low for that.
It does. It sounds like a little low.
It's weird how they set bonds. Like something like that will be like $8,000, and then they'll.
But then some dude that didn't pay his child support,
right?
Have like this astronomical amount.
Or they'll like catch a kid with like an ounce of weed, and he's got like $1 million bond or something. And you're like, that doesn't seem right, Like I get it's against the law, but it just doesn't seem like we're doing equal stuff here. Yeah.
It says here, get this, in September, a 45-year-old man from Long Island was arrested for allegedly threatening to shoot an 11-year-old kid at his school after losing to him in Fortnite.
Okay. I kind of understand that,
But he didn't do it.
No, right. He just threatened him.
Still shouldn't do it.
Well, that little kid was like, Mommy, like as soon as he said it,
if I could go back, if I could be that kid and know what I know now as an adult, I would just be like, you know what, I'm gonna beat you again tonight.
That's right.
You better stay off the servers.
I mean, like the way you shot in this game, I don't believe you'd even hit me.
I hope you have a computer assisted aiming on because you're bad.
I had a roommate one time that we played like GoldenEye all the time.
Yeah.
When I first moved into college, and we played Mortal Kombat, and he would get so furious because he wasn't great at it,
Yes.
And would like, throw the controllers around and all that. But he never threatened to shoot anyone or kill anyone. Now, he called us a lot of names, very creative names, but he would he just had a temper for he didn't have the right temperament for gaming.
Okay, I have to tell this story, and I just want Brad. I know you're out there listening. I have to tell it, dude. I'm sorry. My dad was never much of a gamer. I mean, obviously, it's not his generation, but he occasionally would sit down with us and play a baseball game.
Yeah, and
I think we had Ken Griffey Jr. baseball, and we were playing it one night, and my dad, he was playing Brad. And he would pitch the ball, and he found out that Brad, for whatever reason, I don't know why, it was just some kind of mental thing he had, he would swing no matter what kind of pitch it was. So all you had to do was, hold the little direction button and curve it like as far out as you can to where the batter can't reach it no matter what.
Right.
And it doesn't matter that you can see it coming all the way from the mound. Yeah. He would still swing. And it would be 3 up, 3 down every time. And my brother would get so mad. And he would start screaming at him. And my dad would calm him down. And then the very next pitch, he'd do it again.
The same thing again.
And my brother, he would be up like in the screen saying, I want you to throw it from here to here. Like you have to throw it right.
Right.
And at one point he threw the controller down and he stomped up the stairs so mad. And it took my dad 20 minutes to calm him down and, tell him that, he loved him like a dad, and he didn't want to have an awful relationship with him, and he wanted to make things right. And he coaxed him to come back down the stairs, and he smoothed everything over. And they pick up the controller. This is 20 minutes that he's been trying to calm him down. First pitch, he did it again.
That's perfect. Like as a dad, that's perfect. You got to do that. It's like when I was playing Hudson. Like I couldn't let him win.
It makes you tougher mentally.
Yeah, I guess so.
You struggle through adversity easier.
But I was just like, look, man, you're running the same defense every time. I know, like I've seen it, so I know what play to run against it, and I'm sorry that I'm better than you, like you need to mix up your coverage, package or whatever. And he just cut it off,
Yeah.
He said he cut it off because I was making fun of Tom Brady because he was playing.
He was standing up for Tom Brady.
Yes.
How dare you, sir?
He was playing, which, by the way, Tom Brady can suck it, all right? for the 1999 Orange Bowl, or the whatever year is 99, we played Michigan in the Orange Bowl.
At this point, I flipped the tables to say podcast is over.
But I was playing with the Browns. Like I picked the worst team.
Right.
This is Madden 2018, so it's last year.
Didn't win a single game last year.
Right, yes. I was playing with them. I was just stomping him, And I was like, sorry, buddy. And he got mad and cut it off. It really upset me. I'm going to go challenge him again. Not tonight. It's getting close to bedtime.
You need to post that story on like a Browns, forum, because they'll probably all get excited that at least they're winning Madden, 2017 or whatever.
Right. Well, they won Sunday, by the way, beat the Falcons.
Yeah.
So the Browns.
They got those free beers earlier in the year. Yeah.
The Browns are coming along. Freddie Kitchens, former Alabama quarterback, is their offensive coordinator now.
Oh, really?
That's
How
right.
about that?
Yeah, Freddie Kitchens, the guy who threw the shovel pass that Ed Sissom fumbled in the Iron Bowl that gave Auburn the chance to win. But that's neither here nor there. That wasn't his call. It was Bruce Arians, former Cardinals coach, who everybody thinks is an offensive genius's call. But I don't hold grudges or anything, And really, it wasn't Tom Brady's fault we lost that Orange Bowl. It was Ryan Flugner, our kicker's fault. But whatever. I don't want to call Flugner out. But I've never forgiven Tom Brady either. So
Gotcha.
And I hate Peyton Manning. Just want to get that out in the open, too. Don't like Peyton Manning at all.
I'm not the biggest Peyton Manning
First
fan.
of all, I want everyone to agree that Peyton Manning is not funny. Like, he is not funny at all. And anytime you say, hey, Peyton Manning's not funny, people are like, but he did that skit on Saturday Night Live where he was throwing footballs and hitting those kids. And I'm like, that was 20 years ago. He hasn't done anything funny now. Peyton Manning's not funny. All right. And he also did some very weird stuff that would definitely not be condoned in today's culture with an athletic trainer when he was at Tennessee, and everybody forgets about that he's doing all kind of weird stuff. And so anyways, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everyone listening. I shouldn't have went on that tangent. Tiny, you can edit it all out. Just Peyton Manning gets under my skin. I just like to say that. He beat Alabama 4 years in a row.
Does anybody think those Peyton Manning and Brad Paisley commercials are funny?
Absolutely not, because they're not.
They're
funny.
not.
They are not funny. Peyton Manning is not funny, y'all. I want everyone to know that.
And this is a funny podcast, or it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
but
right.
we've brought up Peyton Manning, and nobody's laughing.
Nobody's laughing. That's right. Peyton, yeah. Anyways, I'm on to you, Peyton. All right? I'm on to you.
What's next?
Okay, so let's move on. We've talked about this guy it's probably been about a month ago. Denver Riggleman.
Hold on one second.
Oh, you're good.
So sorry.
Okay, so we talked about this guy a few months ago, maybe a month ago, and his name's Denver Riggleman, I'm sorry. And the headline says, accused Bigfoot erotica devotee was elected to the House in Virginia, and he defeats Olivia Wilde's mom. I don't know who Olivia Wilde is, but it's his mom. It's her mom. So anyways, Republican Denver Riggleman is an accused devotee of Bigfoot erotica and now a member-elect of the U.S. House of Representatives for Virginia. My opponent, Denver Riggleman, running mate of Corey Stewart, was caught on camera campaigning with a white supremacist. His opponent accused him of. Her name is Leslie Cockburn, if everybody doesn't remember.
I feel like the white supremacist thing, that should probably take center stage if you're running against the guy.
Yes.
Not his Bigfoot erotica.
Oh, yes. Anyways, it says now he's been exposed as a devotee of Bigfoot erotica. That's not what we need on Capitol Hill. That was a tweet she put out.
Well, apparently the voters feel differently. They feel that's exactly what we need on Capitol Hill.
Well, Riggleman said it has nothing to do with Bigfoot erotica. He said the military veteran and craft distillery owner said his opponents misinterpreted his book, The Mating Habits of Bigfoot, which he called a long-running prank with friends and a parody of an anthropological study. And it says the gags included a censored sketch of Sasquatch with the label over his privates, as well as a similar sketch with a photo of Riggleman superimposed on the creature's head. Cockburn called the Instagram post very disturbing and revealing. I'll leave it to the people to make their judgments about this guy, she told USA Today in July. Cockburn is an award-winning journalist and the mother of actress Olivia Wilde.
Okay.
But anyways, the post did not go unnoticed. Adult website Pornhub, which apparently I've never heard of that, says searches for Bigfoot shot up 8,000% in the days immediately following Cockburn's tweets.
Giving all those stepbrothers and sisters a reprieve.
Yes. Pornhub said in a statement, "We're pretty open-minded here at Pornhub, but none of us were expecting that Bigfoot pornography would be at the center of a contentious race for the U.S. House of Representatives seat in Virginia." The two candidates were vying for Tom Garrett's seat because he decided not to run for re-election. USA Today has also reached out to both Riggleman and Cockburn for comment on the results of the race, but neither have returned their calls. So I would just say, if you're Leslie Cockburn, having to not only live with that name, but now live with the fact that you lost to a dude that may or may not be into Bigfoot erotica.
Yes.
That's got to be soul crushing, soul crushing.
Yes.
So anyways, I think it was just a joke. I think we said that, it's just his buddies, giving him a hard time, and she just seized the opportunity to make him look weird. And I'm sure he's probably weird.
He probably, he's a politician.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't know one that's not.
Yeah, exactly. True. But,
in fact, I don't know one at all.
Yeah, I know one. I know a few actually. But through scouts, by the way. But most of them are. I wouldn't say they're into Bigfoot porn. I'll just say that much.
Right.
Yeah. But anyways, so that's that, and if you want to search that, there's apparently sites you can look it on. No comment on that part.
All right. Well, our next story here. Dutchman, who is 69, brings a lawsuit to lower his age 20 years.
Okay. All right.
So I've saved the best for last. This right here. A Dutch positivity trainer has launched a legal battle to change his age and boost his dating prospects. Emil Radelbrand, 69, wants to shift his birthday from March 11th, 1949 to March 11th, 1969, wink, wink, comparing the change to identifying as becoming transgender. We live in a time when you can change your name and you can change your gender. Why can't I decide my own age? He said.
Okay. Well, you get no argument from me.
A local court in the eastern city of Arnhem is expected to rule on the case within 4 weeks. However, officials were skeptical about the case, believing that there were no legal mechanisms allowing a person to change their birth date, local reports said. I.e., they've never had someone come in and try to do this before.
Right. Yep.
One of the judges wanted to know what would become of the 20 years that Mr. Rattleband wanted to erase. Who were your parents looking after then? Who was that little boy? He was quoted as saying. Mr. Rattleband argues that he feels discriminated against
of course,
because of his age and that it was affecting his employment chances and his success rate on the dating app Tinder.
Okay.
When I'm 69, I am limited. If I'm 49, then I can buy a new house, drive a different car, and I can take up more work, he said. When I'm on Tinder and it says I'm 69, I don't get an answer. But when I'm 49, with the face that I have, I will be in a luxurious position, he says. Mr. Rattleband further argued that according to his doctors, he has the body of a 45-year-old, and he has described himself as a, quote, young god.
Okay.
So
that's a little conceited.
He went on Facebook last year to describe how he had made the decision one day standing in front of a mirror, not because he feared getting old, but because he wanted to make the most of his life for as long as possible. He also said that he would renounce his pension if he switched his birth date. So he's going to put his pension off another 20 years, I guess.
Huh. That's bold.
That is bold. It says that Mr. Rattleband, a media personality and motivational guru, converted to Buddhism earlier this year and is a trainer in neuro-linguistic programming. Do you know what that is? I have no idea.
I don't. That's way over my pay grade.
And it says that he voiced the character Vladimir Trunkov in the Dutch language version of Cars 2.
Oh,
so
well, all right. That's impressive.
Yeah. So what do you think about this guy? I mean, he does. His picture is right here, and he doesn't look 69.
Yeah.
But
well, my thing is, why can't he just change his age on the app, anyways?
I don't know. That's a good question.
You know, I mean, that doesn't seem like that hard to do. Just
Tinder came along long after I was married. So
right.
All you Tinder people out there, how does that work?
I want to go on record saying I know nothing about Tinder. All right.
Do they verify your age when you set up a profile?
Yeah. Well, you don't have to send them a shot of your ID or anything, though. You know.
I mean, you got to put a credit card, but a credit card's not going to tell you how old you are. It just means you're over 18, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I didn't even know you had to put a credit card in.
Well, you got to pay. They got to get their money somehow.
I figured they would get it off of ads or something.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't either.
Again,
I don't know.
Tinder
You're
people
not
let
getting me in
us
on
know.
this. All right. Yeah, no, I don't know anything about it. Yeah, people on Tinder, all our single listeners out there, let us know how it works, because we don't understand. We're old. Man. Yeah. So,
because maybe he's worried about women like going and doing a background check on him and finding out, wait a minute, you're not 49, you're 69.
I feel like what you do is you go out on a couple of dates and you're like, look, I hadn't been completely honest with you. Like after she's already liking you and you're feeling a little vibe with her and everything, and you're like, I'm a little older than the 45 you thought I was.
But you didn't even know it.
Yeah, right. But you didn't even know. Like, don't worry about being 69. Like we'll let you you'll get a life insurance policy one day, and you'll still be young enough to move on and do something else. So
let that be your selling point. I have a huge life insurance policy.
That's right. Okay, we want to thank our sponsor, world famous Cajun Curl Bayou Blended Spice, for their support. Check them out at CajunCurl.com. You can order the spice there and their Cajun Curl cutter for potatoes. You can get it all on CajunCurl.com. It was created on the Elm Bayou in Evangeline Parish, Louisiana, and it's a seasoning that goes on everything. If you like cooking or eating, this is a spice for you. Cajun Curl Bayou Blended Spice goes well with chicken, beef, pork, potatoes, and since it's Thanksgiving, let's talk about turkey, because that's what you're going to want to rub on your turkey and give it that extra flavor. Everybody knows. All right, look, everybody's talking behind your back right now about how your turkey's kind of bland. All your family's dreading coming over and eating it. Let's kick it up a notch and put some Cajun Curl on it. Let's talk about their spiral potato cutter. It's amazing. It's easy to use and it's easy to clean, and it'll allow you to make your own chips using the Cajun Curl spice. Like we said last week, a centerpiece on your table with a cornucopia and homemade Cajun Curl spice potato chips coming out of that is going to be it's going to set your whole Thanksgiving off. It's going to be great. You know how your uncle gets drunk and yells at everybody? He's not going to do that this year because he's going to be eating potato chips. It'll balance out the beer he's drinking. Everything is going to be great. So go on their website, CajunCurl.com, and you can order their spice there. And you can also get the chip cutter, but you'll find recipes that you'll want to try out this Thanksgiving. You can locate your nearest retailer there or order your own. If you're
thankful Elm Bayou.
That's right.
Oh wait, was I was I late on that? My bad.
That's okay. If your local grocer doesn't carry world famous Cajun Curl Bayou Blended Spice, ask them to start stocking it. Here locally, it's at Vowels on Skyline, South's Finest Meats, and Piggly Wiggly in Northport. All of their products are made in the USA, so not only do you enjoy the taste of Cajun Curl, but you also feel patriotic, and while your drunk uncle's talking about how he gave all he had in Vietnam, you can tell him that this turkey's got a USA-made product on it that's going to make it taste great. It's all natural, it's low salt, it has a little kick to it, but it doesn't burn your lips. World famous Cajun Curl Bayou Blended Spice. Taste the spice, but not the heat. If you go on CajunCurl.com and use the promo code E.O.P.10, that's 10, you'll get a 10% discount. And you better order now because Thanksgiving's coming up pretty quick.
Yes, we ask all of our audience to eat Cajun Curl, but we no longer ask you to pay full price.
That's right.
Use coupon code EOP10 to save 10%.
Right. And if you support the show, let's support our sponsors and let's go get one. I mean, if you don't want it, it makes a great stocking stuffer. Christmas is coming up. You got Dirty Santa coming along, all that good stuff. So go on and start ordering it. Use EOP10, get 10% off. And it make your holidays a little spicier.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Put a little spice in your holidays.
We got any reviews this week?
Well, we got a couple on the Facebook page
Awesome.
here. I can read them if you want me to.
Where's that other one? Let's see.
I got both of them right here.
Awesome. Go ahead.
So the first one is from Jason Thigpen. Well, we all love Jason. Known Jason our whole life. Great guy. Fellow Scout. Fellow Eagle Scout.
Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day. A day late. It's 5 stars. John doesn't post on Instagram enough, and Tiny never tweets. Need to step it up, guys.
Well, yes, that's true. So
yes. Our next review comes from Wiltz Couture. One of our biggest supporters, and I just want to tell everyone, happy Veterans Day to Wiltz too, right? He was in the Navy, right? Yeah, so happy Veterans Day late to you, Wiltz. I want to tell everybody to buckle up.
And I want to tell everybody to never forget.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I mean, buckle up before you get into this review. All right?
Oh, my bad.
All right. It began with a noticeable change in the viscosity of my saliva. Within minutes of consumption, my mouth had filled with a thick, foamy slime. Though I was in a cool, climate-controlled room, a salty sweat broke out, and I felt my heartbeat quicken as my body threw itself into fight or flight. The animal noises broadcasting from my pelvis were an ominous warning of the violent acts that were to follow. I shouldered my way into the bathroom, clawing at my belt, moaning with pain. The smell came first. It started sweet, almost tangy. That was quickly overpowered by a cloying chemical perfume.
Man, he paints a picture. You
know
that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we're getting into the meat of it now. The first volley of feces hit the water like soda cans and nickels. The resulting splash drenched my bottom in a foul, brackish water, but this was quickly becoming the least of my worries. After another moment, the noises in my core hit a fever pitch, and I was struck with rigid pain. The sweat was now running into my eyes, but the room had turned ice cold, and my hands began to spasm. I felt an insidious burning flooding my escape hatch. I gasped. Hot yellow poison began spraying from my rear, changing in pitch and echo as the stream of diarrhea whipped around the toilet bowl, creating a nightmarish Doppler effect that only can be appreciated in hindsight. My legs fell asleep sitting on the toilet. I couldn't have stood up if I wanted to. Wiping was a no-go. Toilet paper simply became a vile paper mache. My hands were quickly soiled. A full-blown shower was needed, and all my towels had to be burned. The end.
Yeah.
That is by far my favorite review we've ever had in the history of this podcast.
He's not saying our podcast did that to him, is he?
I don't know. And we got, he really didn't even give us stars, I don't think.
he recommends
us.
us.
It's recommended. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. He recommends us. And that's how he chose to recommend us. And for that, I thank him because that was a wild ride.
Wow.
Yeah. We've all been there.
You know, I kind of don't want to talk anymore after that.
I mean, I feel like that's like the perfect cap to the end of the show, like to the show. It's just a great little...
Oh, mercy.
Vignette from Wiltz.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
R.I.P. Stan Lee.
That's right.
You have been listening to Earth Oddity Podcast. And we thank you so much for listening to us, no matter where you get us, whether it's iTunes or Google Podcast or Spotify or TuneIn or CastBox, Overcast, Acast, all those others. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
If you want to write into the show, we are earthoddity@planetmail.net. Well, you can follow us on Instagram, even though we don't ever post there.
Rarely. We're okay. We're somewhat frequent.
Yeah. It is _ Earth Oddity.
Yes.
Exact same Twitter handle.
That's right. Although we never tweet.
We never tweet, but we're going to try to get better at that. And if you want to give us a call, what's that phone number?
It is 662-493-2059.
What's that phone number again?
662-493-2059.
Oh, yeah. Call now.
Yeah, call now. Let us know what you're thinking.
We hope everyone out there has a great week. Earth Oddity for the Fringe Radio Network signing off.
Love y'all.
Bye.
This has been a very odd production. Thanks for listening.